Time for another coffee with Kilroy. Got my coffee. And I hope you are enjoying whatever you're drinking or eating or doing right now. And thank you for stopping by and spending some time with me. I always really do appreciate that. And sometimes amazed. Anyway, today I am continuing my coverage of Postcard games published by LPS Inc. and distributed either through Against the Odds magazine or Turning Point Simulation Games. Today we're up to number 18 in the series, which is called Behold a Pale Glider. We are now in World War II. This was an attack in Belgium on May 10th, 1940. A handful of German troops landed atop Belgium's strongest fort using gliders that were painted light blue underneath on their underside to match the sky. Here, hence the pale glider. And this is a two-player game that simulates the key event in the fall of France, because this is hitting Belgium and then onward to France. Now, this is a postcard game. It is designed by Paul Rohrbal, and when I say postcard game, it is a game that is on basically the size of a postcard. Now, some of these actually, let me get a drink here. Some of these actually had a place to put a stamp and an address on the back, just like a postcard, and you can send it to your friend. But these are using that space for rules. So let's go in here a little bit. As you can see here are all the rules of the game. And then you have the counters along the side here. You've got the front and then the back. Now, if you select these from Against the Odds these days, when you select a game or a magazine game, you can also select a postcard, which I highly recommend that. They'll send you a die-cut counter sheet for that postcard game selected. And I was lucky enough to get this one, which is standard Against the Odds magazine type production. It's a die-cut counter sheet. Very good color, very crisp, clear fonts and graphics, and good thickness here. The only downside to some of these counters is they do have some nibs when they punch out. They're a little bit nibby. And I'm generally not a counter clipper, but these, along with some other magazine games, which will remain nameless, and other type of games, older games, they have a lot of nibs, kind of cry out for counter clipping. And I probably will do these at some point. So you have your counter sheet here, front and back, or you can just cut them right off the postcard or your board as you have it right here. The board's on the front. You might want to make a copy of this and enlarge it to have a little bit more space to play. I'm going to take a sip every time I do one of those. And but that kind of defeats the whole purpose of having this being very compact and portable, which these are very much so. The rules are on the back, as you can see here, and you actually have a counter key here. Let's see if I soup in a little bit here. That tells you the attack factor, the ID number, dice roll modifiers, and whether it's infantry, glider infantry, fort, or leader. So you have all those designations there to explain these counters. And then you have the rules on here. Now, like many Paul Rohrbal games, this requires a standard deck of cards. Typically he uses cards for activations and involved with combat and the like. Sometimes he uses cards and dice. This is one of those ones that uses both. You need to have a 10-sided dice, or 10-sided die, not necessarily a 6-sided like most other games. You need a 10-sided one for this one. But this is going to have a whole series of setup and landing checks, because you are glider troops or infantry glider troops, because you're going to be landing on your gliders. So there's a landing check, and then you have the gameplay, the combat, the fort itself, Belgian reinforcements, the game length, and then what it takes to win the game down here. All those are on the rules here. So you might want to make a copy of either the front or back so that you can refer to it while you're playing the game. Another interesting aspect of this game is it is a point-to-point type system. It is not a hex and counter, or it is got counters, but it's not a hex-based or grid-based system. You have this kind of point-to-point as you move around, and you also have a turn track here along the bottom. So there you have it. The only other aspect that's a little bit different in this game is it's set up in portrait mode. Most of the games kind of are landscape. This one is set up as portrait setting to play the game, so a little bit longer, north and south on there. But otherwise, I think with the counters and the map, it's very very nicely done there. And on top of it all, one thing that's generally true of these postcard games is that they cover topics rarely covered, or not covered exhaustively, like the Bulge or Gettysburg or games of that, or Waterloo, although they do have some postcard games on Waterloo, so I got to watch out. This is a interesting and unique attack on Belgium with gliders. Not that I don't know if there's a ton of games on that, so I always find that interesting, and I kind of gravitate towards those kind of games that are off the beaten path. So there you have it. This is Behold a Pale Glider, covering on Coffee with Kilroy. So love to know your thoughts on this. And when I say this, meaning this game or these type of postcard games or pocket battle games, I think they call them in the series, or any of the games from LPS, or anything that's on your mind, or about this battle. If there's some special details or history that share it with us all. We can all be better and learn from it. Anyway, thanks again for stopping by. This is kind of a short week because I'm traveling, so I'm not doing the hefty schedule of videos that I've been doing. Last week I had, I think, 5 Coffee with Kilroys. That's a lot of coffee. So I need to hit the decaf, do some traveling, and we'll be back with more videos in the upcoming weeks. Anyway, thanks again for stopping by. Take care. Thanks for watching.